Welcome back to Made in China 520. On this video, I'll be continuing the entire story of Resident Evil 7, where I only tell the DLC story as I already explained the main story on the previous video. Without further ado, let's start the video with Not a Hero. The scene starts with Lucas Berger getting called by his company, which is the Connections. Then the story moves to Chris Redfield as the main character, where this DLC takes after the main story. In Not a Hero, Chris is on a mission to find Lucas Baker, where the location is mostly set at the salt mine, where it is Lucas hiding for the whole time. In the salt mine, Lucas did an experiment with E-type mutamycete or the mob, and Chris also had lost 3 of his best men. Chris then found one of his men, but one of them turns out to be Lucas. Chris tries to save his men, but Lucas detonates the bomb and explodes the other soldier. Lucas be like,
Adios, muchachos.
Chris must wear the helmet to breathe safely as Lucas spread the mold to the whole mine. Then, the HQ tells Chris that Lucas had been sending status report about Evelyn to the Connection, and Chris must find him. Not long after that, Chris found his soldier getting help, but he needed to get rid of the mold first. Chris unlocks the cage and tells him everything is alright, but the soldier said, "Psych, you just entered Lucas' trap." Lucas then sprays out the mold, and the soldier tells him to take the filter, but it will lead the soldier to death and becomes a mold. But Lucas also adds another trap to the soldier. I mean, the soldier won't be survive in this situation anyway, because he's gonna die. Chris almost runs out of oxygen and takes the filter. Chris then meets the same guard in the main story to take the key. Chris gets the key and enters a room where it's completely dark and he needs a night vision to avoid another Lucas trap. Chris manages to deactivate the trap and save his men. But when both of them try to get out from the mine,
oh fuck, you gotta be kidding me. Fuck! 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 Get this thing off me! No!
Lucas then rage bait Chris as it ends 3 of Chris' men. However, Lucas also puts a bomb on Chris' arm and Chris needs to remove it quickly. The HQ tells Chris to find a liquid nitrogen at the storage room to freeze the bomb, which can prevent him from death. Chris finds the liquid nitrogen and he luckily removes the bomb before the bomb explodes once again.
Shit!
Then, Lucas also set another game for Chris. Chris be like,
For the love of God, shut the fuck up!
Chris has to escape from the storage room before ended up like his man. But at least, he got a main character plot armor, which makes him can die from the story. At this time, the HQ needs Chris to find Lucas quickly, while the HQ will decrypting the Lucas email. Chris finally found Lucas in the dark. Then Chris activates the electricity, which makes Lucas get spotted by Chris. Lucas be like,
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
both of them play hide and seek, and but Chris also shoots Lucas, where it turns out he is weak after all. Lucas then turns into a monster, while Chris needs to manage his oxygen before he runs out of it, which makes Chris have to defeat Lucas as soon as possible. Chris finally ends Lucas' life career. However, the data that Lucas sent to the Connection is almost complete. Chris shut down the server, which stops the data being sent to the Connection. At the end of the story, Chris sees a photo of Baker's family and leaves the place for another mission. This concludes the story of Chris in Resident Evil 7. Now move to the next story, which is the end of Zoe. In the end of Zoe, we'll be playing as Joe Baker, who is Zoe Baker's uncle and also Jack Baker's older brother. The story starts with Ethan choosing Mia to be cured, which shows that the Mia ending is the canon one. Zoe was so disappointed with Ethan, where she was being left behind. In this DLC, we will see what happened to Zoe after Ethan and Mia left her, where Zoe freezes because of Evelyn. Joe sees Zoe with the soldier, but Joe thinks the soldier did something bad to her, so he knocks them down. Zoe is safe, and the soldier tells Joe that they are trying to help Zoe. But Joe did not believe what the soldier said. Bruh, this old man is so stubborn at the start of the game. Joe asked the situation, but the soldier said it was too complicated. Joe still thinks the soldier is trying to kill Joe, so Joe beats the soldier.
I don't understand. You see that girl back there? Look! That there my brother's little girl. My niece, you understand? And around here, family is a righteous cause. And you ain't gonna kill my family. Now see, that ain't something I can abide.
Joe also still believed that his niece is still alive, while the soldiers said there's a cure. But Joe still didn't give a shit to him. Well, actually, things will not get worse if Joe listens to them instead of beating them. At this moment, Joe finally believes what the soldiers said and finds the cure. Oh yeah, in this game, Joe only realized with his face, he's such a badass dude, and he also didn't give a shit with gun. Bruh, he's basically like the Resident Evil of Mike Tyson, you know. However, Joe finds out that his place is being burned, which makes him worried with Zoe. So Joe injected her with the serum, but it didn't work because the serum was not in the full dose. The soldier tells him that there are more serums which are on their base. What about our fellow soldier? Well, he... Suddenly, a swarmman just appeared to take Zoe, but Joe managed to take her and he must take her to safety. Joe finds a safe place to the rest zone, where the place is the base that soldier mentioned before. Joe then tries to get out the serum, but...
What? Oh, come on!
Somehow Joe managed to make it work and get the serum. At the time Joe gets the serum, the swarmman approaches him from behind and they having a fight. Joe ends the swarmman with shotgun's fatality.
Take this! That's how you get it done! Woo!
However, the swarmman is still alive and takes Zoe with him, where he needed to find Zoe as soon as possible. Joe finds Zoe, but it was revealed that the swarmman is Jack Baker, where it turns out Jack Baker did not die at all during the main story. So Joe did not believe that his brother also turns into a zombie, where Jack leaves Joe unconscious. Joe wakes up and somehow finds one of the Blue Umbrella's weapon called Advanced Multi-Purpose Gauntlet. I mean, why not all of the Blue Umbrella soldiers wearing this weapon, so that no one dies on their mission, and saving much more time to save the world from bioweapons. With this gauntlet, Joe gets buff. Joe reaches his brother's house and finds Zoe and Jack there. At their final fight,
Zoe, wake up! Wake up!
Joe says farewell to Jack and asks Jack's torture for good.
This is a farewell from the family, brother!
Joe gives the serum to Zoe, and Zoe finally is getting better. Chris and the Blue Umbrella team are saving them. Zoe also finally free from 3 years hell. Joe tells Zoe that her family still love her, especially her father. Chris got a call from someone, and it was Ethan. Chris lent his phone to Zoe as Ethan asked Zoe if she's alright. Well, actually, Ethan still cares about Zoe too, as he was asking for help. And Zoe said,
Thank you, Ethan.
the end. Alright, by ending Zoe's story, this concludes the entire story of Resident Evil 7, where I think the story were actually really amazing for DLCs. I think it's also much better than Resident Evil 5 DLCs. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. As always, thanks for watching. Bye.